Hi Virgo, welcome to your fortnightly check-in with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon, and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon, or rising sign Virgo, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to pop these to the side. I'm going to pull these out. Ooh. All right, so for your cross purposes, we're starting with cross purposes from now on. And the reason being is because we want to get the gnarly bit out of the way. All right, so this week or this fortnight, your cross purposes is the Fool. So basically, the Fool card can literally represent when we are being foolish, right? So if over the course of this week you have a moment where you think, this is probably not the best idea, or maybe, because we're going to look at this from the macro and the microcosmic level, right? And on the microcosmic level, where you get in your own way is potentially where you make a foolish decision. All right. Like it's not even a case of keep your wits about you. You're being urged not to make any sort of rash decisions this week or this fortnight. Okay. Now, in terms of the macrocosm, like on the larger scale, where might it come from out in the world? Well, let's have a look. All right. And you have the Four of Cups. This definitely says to me, don't cut your nose off to spite your face. There's an element here of it's like, well, this isn't good enough, so I'm just going to chuck the whole thing out. I would think about that. All right. Something that I would really give a lot more thought to. If there's something that you're thinking, I'm just going to chuck this out, it hasn't paid out, it's not doing the job, whatever, fill in the blanks. I do feel like you might be being hasty. Maybe you are. Do you know what I mean? Like just something to watch out for. All right. So for your actions and results, you've got the Tower card with the Four of Swords and the Knight of Cups. Okay. So you are potentially not only cutting off your nose to spite your face, but this fortnight, the Tower is basically saying to you, not the Tower, the Tower, this triplet is basically saying to you when it comes to your actions and results this fortnight, try not to do anything too rash. All right. Try to school your emotions. Now, this is something you guys tend to be very good at. So if it's something that's really throwing your emotions out of whack, it's obviously got to be something that's quite intense. Straying away from your trademark stoicism, probably not the best way to go this fortnight. Okay. Now, that Tower card with the Four of Swords, it's almost like a refusal to rest. No, can't leave it, can't let it alone. It's kind of like if you're anything like me and you pick at your finger and then eventually it starts to bleed, right? Like this is one of those kinds of things. Um, Especially where results or you're driving for specific results, less really is going to be more over this fortnight. Okay. Okay. So for your career and communications, you've got the Judgment card. Okay. In this deck, it's actually called Harvest. Isn't that beautiful? Then you've got the Five of Swords. Okay. And the Six of Wands. So something comes up for resolution this fortnight. Okay. This is an issue, a problem, a challenge that you've had more than once that's come up before. Maybe it's come up and it's a recurring theme. This time you break that pattern. This time you have the breakthrough. I love this for you guys because this judgment card is a blast from the past. With the Five of Swords, that's an old argument. Something that's come up again and again and again. It's like, oh, this just keeps coming up as a theme. And then you've got the Six of Wands. This time you break the habit. This time you break the pattern. All right. Don't cut off your nose to spite your face. Like this time, just work through it. Let it be done. When it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, this could be something that you had applied for, maybe a certain type of course, Maybe for some of you, you've had a dispute over an exam result, right? Whatever it is, this is all, it's come up before. It's nothing new to you, but this time you will see it through and you will get a satisfactory result. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, um, I really feel that this shows up for you guys in that you've had an argument, an issue, or a challenge with a boss where you've basically said to them, you're doing this the wrong way. It needs to be this, it needs to be that. And, you constantly hear, well, you're not the boss, you're not in charge, da, 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 da. And it's like, you know what? It's not about being in charge, it's about the thing needing to be done right. That's one of the things with Virgo energy. It's like, I don't care so much about being in charge. What I care about is the job being done properly. And this is something that you've pointed out time and time again. Well, you're about to be vindicated. So, this is one of those moments where you can stand back and just kind of say, okay, you know what? The universe has got this one. And when the whole tumbling, when not the whole, when the whole house of cards comes tumbling down, you'll get your apology. You'll have your moment where you get to say, kind of, I told you so. Or it might be that someone comes to you and says, we can't say that you didn't tell us or you didn't warn us. Business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves. This may be a dispute or not a dispute. This might be a battle that you've had with yourself. Do I expand? Do I take on an employee? Do I offer, a different service? It's something that's gone round and round, and it may be something that you've had sort of arguments with family members or whatever. It's like you've been given a lot of encouragement to do something, but you've been fighting yourself on it. And because of that, it's kind of everyone's like, you know what, we've given up, we're exasperated, we're just going to leave you to it. And now it's kind of like you have that breakthrough because you find a bravery maybe that you didn't have previously, which could be great. Maybe it's because you finally finished analyzing the data. And then finally, for your those of you that are retired and no longer working, this may very well be where you've had to play mediator on a specific thing within the family, between siblings, between your children, whatever the case might be. And it's like this time, the argument is settled. It's like it comes up, you hash it out, or they hash it out. Yes, maybe it gets a little bit heated, but after that, it's done. Great. For your love and relations, look at that. You've got, so in this deck, it's called the Lord and Lady, but it is the Lover's card. Love that. All right. Then you've got the Standing Stone, which is the Justice card. And then you've got the World card. Well, for those of you that are in long-term relationships but don't have the title, someone getting married, okay? Period. With these cards, someone's getting married. Like, this is a decision to make it official and change the way that we do things completely, because that's the World card. In this deck, it's called the World Tree. They're just, I love these cards. The one, I mean, all of my decks I love. I wouldn't have them otherwise, but it's definitely one of my favorites. And so, yeah, for those of you that are, in long-term commitments, but no rock on the finger or no declaration, etc., this is you going that next step. For those of you that are already married, I love this for you and your partner finally initiating plans that you have maybe been waiting to pull the trigger on, so to speak. When it comes to your those of you that are completely single and looking and ready and looking to mingle, it's very likely to be through a community that you are deeply committed to that you find a significant other over this fortnight. Like, that's where you need to be looking. Like, if you've got a hobby that you do religiously, if you've got a place that you love to go to every so often, a favorite restaurant, a favorite bar, a favorite park, it's going to be in one of those settings in a place that you frequent quite often, but something will be different this time. Exciting. And then finally, for your money and materials, you have the Wheel of Fortune, beautiful, or the Wheel of the Year in this deck. You've got the Ace of Swords, beautiful, or Ace of Athanates, and then you've got the Seven of Pentacles. So money looks good this fortnight, all right? The finances are boosting. There's some good stuff happening with the money. Potentially new opportunities that show up. So for those of you that are interviewing, maybe you're applying for money and or funding or loans, bursaries, all of that kind of stuff. The money that you need is absolutely available to you. That is a change, right? So the Wheel of Fortune with the Ace of Swords, that's a change in your financial outlook or outcome. You're about to start earning more money over this next fortnight, but it's like whatever you do this fortnight, it only sets that energy into motion. So the money itself might not show up now, but all of the things that you need in order to start generating more funds definitely show up for you here. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, I actually really like this because it looks like a lot of you are getting very serious about health right now. Really, very focused on looking after yourself, maybe investing potentially financially in your health in some way, shape, or form. It could also be, as well, maybe for some of you, you look to different alternative therapeutic practices because maybe you've tried everything else and you're like, you know what, I want to give this a try. And then when it comes to your home and environment, this is very good news about something to do with the home that you've already invested in. So if you rent, this might be that the landlord says to you, yeah, you know what, we're happy to renew your contract. If you own your home, maybe you find out it's now really appreciated in value. If you if it's none of those for you, and let's say you live in your parents' house or whatever, this could be good news about you finally reaching a point where you may be able to strike out on your own. All in all, this is actually a really nice spread, even with those sort of more challenging first two triplets. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic fortnight. Let me know in the comments how it shapes out. Take care, and I'll see you soon.